We're live. Welcome to the sprint planning for number 5 retrospective. We're doing a review, kind of a show and tell of all the action that happened in the last 2 weeks. I'm trying to make this a practice. It took us 5 sprints to really get it nailed down, but I think we're ready. So I'm going to go first and just show off the work that was done. Let's see. On that screen instead. First work is, oh my gosh, my calendar is crazy. No. Okay, so probably the most interesting thing that we can say is our runway. We were a little behind this sprint when Lorelei was handling a lot of the accounting, so I took it over and finally got up to date. So the big news is that we have over $100,000 sitting in our coffers, which is pretty cool. But that does translate to about a runway until April 15th. That's the conservative runway. So we don't need to go hardcore into fundraising until next year for sure. And this is a conservative assumption. It's assuming that crypto market doesn't go up or down, and that we don't get any gains from investing this money into DeFi projects, which I do. And also we have a big fundraising push with membership fees. So none of that is accounted for. So hopefully it's a very conservative thing. And eventually though, we do need a fundraise lead because our burn rate is about 30K a month and our donations are about 5K a month. And that's not sustainable. So other thing that we need to keep going with is we have a really awesome Gitcoin grants round, and I'm sure Jess can talk a lot about that. But SEM launched the conviction voting. So people with CSTK tokens can go and vote for their favorite proposals. Right on the top, guess what? Common Stack Iteration 0, leading the way, just edging out cadCAD. Last time we gave away $50,000 using this app based on the results of this app. So hopefully the CSTK token holders rock the vote and help us dish out the pan. Also updated a couple grants. It's Gitcoin round. Hopefully people will donate PAN tokens or DAI to our grants, but ideally it's PAN. So we have iteration 0 and the common simulator are the ones that, oh, actually I was hoping to show off the Panvala grant because that's the one I updated. This one Jess updated. Thank you, Jess. And other stuff, we have the CSTK token Dapp is actually working to an extent. Right? It's not 100% done, but this is a real website. Here's terms and conditions. We're actually cryptographically signing them to an IPFS thing. Emails are being sent out. You sign your terms and conditions with your wallet. That's kind of cool, right? And then you can, we can almost make a contribution. He almost finished it yesterday. I mean, connecting to the Dapp, but next sprint for sure, we'll be able to actually send money to the Giveth Dapp using this Dapp. A few things need to be done, but we made a lot of progress this sprint. Also, we have the common simulator. So, we are making big progress here, doing a lot of the finishing touches where you can pick up your favorite parameters for the radical exchange commons that needs to be created. Big one was, we updated this graph, although it's not updated on that one. But the coolest thing is that you can actually run the simulation. This actually runs cadCAD. It takes a little bit of time, but it is actually running cadCAD and kicking out results. So that's super cool. First front end for cadCAD is up and running. Other thing that's pretty big is a working doc on steps to become a hatcher, which isn't very much needed for onboarding, and pushing this out so it kind of runs through the steps and identifies things that are still work in progress, like some of the terms and conditions and AML. But it's a lot easier than it looks, so that's good news. And then we had I had a couple forum posts like praise quantification, got that up. Soon we'll vote on it. I was looking for some feedback on the proposal. And that was actually a huge thing that we did this month, where Livia, this is the first sprint where Livia didn't have to dish praise, at least to the TEC. She still had to dish praise for CSTAX, but hey, take our victories. And then we also have a deep dive on C-stack ratio. And so getting that concept out to the people and just in general, like solidifying the idea that you need C-stack tokens to join the hatch. That got pretty much solidified this sprint. And also we got out all the parameters that needed to be there for the Dandelion and hatch. Basically phase 1 of the TEC launch has the reference material required for all the TEC parameters. Jake did a great job here, making sure that we had lots of meetings about discussing parameters. We recorded, I think 3 videos. Oh no, 2 videos. We have one more tomorrow about hatch parameters. So we made huge progress, and I'm super stoked with how much work got done in the sprint. So I will pass it to Chris. You're muted, Chris.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we can share, or I think you guys can see my screen now. I don't have a whole lot to share, show and tell, but I was doing lots of different work this week, or this sprint. So one of the things that I did finish just recently was, if we start a new issue, now there's a contributor issue template. So if you get started on a new issue, you can use that template. And I've just added a little bit more details specific to welcoming contributors, a little bit of a welcome message, link to our Telegram, and then just a little more explanation to our general template, a little more context, notes, still have our steps. Change this to a project manager so that we can mention whoever is maintaining the project and can collaborate or combining all of the different contributions into one project. So yeah, that is a pretty simple addition that I put together this sprint. We also did quite a bit of Gitcoin grant stuff. I created a cart that is a collection. Actually, I wonder if I have my collections here. Anyway, we have it. We've shared the collection a few times with a number of our community grants within it, as well as talked a lot about our Pamvala matching program. As well, we did quite a bit of legal work. So working towards collaborating with the CSTK token Dapp group to make sure kind of all of their wording and things were all okay. Finalizing the terms and conditions, working on and just finalizing the statutes, which we will then move towards our next board meeting. Trying to remember if there's anything else. Continued work on the Discord server that will be launching soon. I think that's all I have for show and tell, unless I've somehow missed something. But I think that's it. For me, anyway.
Well, no short effort to heard those lawyers. Congratulations on getting that. It's no small feat. Who goes next?
Yeah, who, I guess we'll go to Dan if he, yeah, I think Dan's next.
Yeah, let me try and, okay, yay. So basically I started playing a little bit with Orbit. Orbit it's an app to manage community user reason, mostly from the perspective of collaborators. So it's got all this logic of like orbit spaces, like where people come into some sense of gravity, and in love it was pulled into the center. And you can actually now see here, like, oh, this is how it looks for the common stack. So we have some interesting numbers over here in terms of activity. And yeah, I actually discovered like Anna. Thanks, Anna. she was collaborating here for a while ago, and she started working on an article. And now she's got a draft, and I almost missed it, but found it thanks to Orbit right now, and here it is. She's working on this. So I'm very happy to see this work just happen. And we can actually see as well, like I integrated this with TEC as well, just to have like two things to look at and compare. And the numbers are very interesting right now. Like, but anyway, I mean, when you look at Orbit, you had a lot of filters to look at the people that are participating. So you can go through members, teammates, and activity is something very interesting, like activity count, and you can see like what people are doing, like most different kinds of activities. Oh, right now it's just showing one person, but anyway. Because yeah, we had a lot of people in as teammates already incorporated. So it's fun, it's interesting, it's a new way to look at things. I still haven't completely figured it out yet. There are a lot of things to look at and to think about in terms of that, what this gravity of love towards like the center means. You can see the orbits down here. So a lot of people are actually in the orbit number 1, so it's part of the core team. But anyway, this is something I will be playing with a little bit, and it allows you just to find these beautiful contributions like the community in real time, and the comments and everything that is going on in one center place, which is fun. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what can as well be happen from there. Just as well, during the spring, we had like a kickoff for contributors, and I started playing with this, I was mentioning, but just as well for partnerships. Yesterday, we were having this conversation with the TEC, and I spoke to my friend Beatriz Ramos from Dada, and they are interested in, actually they're working with our very active member Soul system. So they're interested in making a proposal, and they're working around this beautiful idea of the invisible economy. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Nice. Wow, that's super cool. Orbit looks super cool. I guess I'll pass it for you. Let's go to Livia.
Hey, okay, so let me share my screen.
Oh, and really quick, Dan also did a lot of work hunting down all the people who we've been like, this is like to-do list that's been on our to-do list for about, I don't know, 6 months, maybe a year. Getting all the people who fill out the form a year ago to agree to certain questions that we didn't ask them, specifically around consent, that their address could be public, and that they would need to publicly be part of our system. So great work. Seriously, that was a lot of work, probably messaging hundreds of people. So, okay, sorry, Livia.
Thank you. Yeah, so for me, this last sprint, we worked on participatory decision making is vital. That is principle 3. And we proposed that we change from Discord emoji vote, it was the process we had going on, to the forum. And the great thing about doing that is that the forum has way more space for discussions to happen. And then there is this cool poll feature. So you can propose a signaling voting that you can add up to 5 things to choose from, or you can add a yes, no vote that would continue in the same format that we had, that was yes, neutral, and block. So we're pretty much continuing with the same process we had, just improving and changing some little things to fit in the forum, since also the conviction voting proposals are going to be passing to the forum. So down here, there is the explanation for how we are proposing this change to happen. And it was approved to come to the forum already, but it's great that we're having a lot of participation and people collaborating on how to make these improvements. Another discussion that has been very active is contribution reward. So Santi and Mateo are working on the Sourcecred implementation for a while already. And every week in SoftGov, we have a little discussion about how to improve the contribution reward process, not only implementing Sourcecred, but also adding different ideas that people might have on how to combine praise with Sourcecred, or how to add new features for contribution. And yeah, it's been an active chat here. So you can also check out the discussions. And oops. And then I've been working on this sheet that it's still like a Google Doc, but I've been going to all of the working groups and looking them since the beginning, and seeing all of the discussions, all of the important documents, all of the ones that are active and inactive. So still there is just a little bit to go for legal and the tech spec. And then soon they will go to the forum that Jess will show a little bit more about. But on onboarding working group, we've been working to organize a welcome session to the forum. So it's going to be very easy for someone that it's coming to see how they can contribute. And then the last thing is the book club. This is just the channel. And we've been having a really cool turnout for those meetings. Last session was yesterday and there was 13 people. And that was really impressive to see so many people in a book club call. And a lot of people have been actually reading the book. So that's awesome. And so many of these discussions are being like a really good material for us to work in the TEC and to feed our ideas and the things we're proposing. That's it for me. And I pass to Jess. I don't know if you guys are ready yet.
Yeah, thank you. And Livia, I just want to compliment your work on being the champion of pushing Ostrom's principles into DAOs. I think this is amazing and it's creating huge ripples. So your attention and time on that is amazing. So I think the whole DAO space will benefit. Awesome work. Okay, I'm going to share now. You can see my screen? Okay. Yep. So yeah, going back to the Gitcoin, Griff mentioned a lot of it. So we rewrote the iteration 0, made it a little more fun. We also, thanks to Chris and Jeff, we 3 hacked together to churn out some newsletters, inviting people to submit grants and vote with the Common Stack Community Fund. And then a second one that was specifically pushing donations and supporting our whole ecosystem. And yeah, Chris made that awesome cart. And also I spent some time with 4 of our community projects, helping them with their Gitcoin grants and helping them to add their grants to the conviction voting. And they were very grateful. So I was happy to help them. Yeah, and then some of the things that I work on that maybe don't get seen is I kind of am like the go-between graphic designer when Marco doesn't have time or just to push stuff. So speaking of design, Marco and I had a meeting to hack a bit on the TEC look, and we're still finalizing. We should finalize by I think next week, probably end of next week. We were just playing with it, kind of coming to a final design. So we were just sharing some inspiration there. So we should have the fully finished brand look by next week, which is really exciting, and it'll be a little more jazzy. Also worked on our bi-weekly blog talking about like TEC news, everything you need to know in 5 minutes. So if you haven't seen this yet, the big news was that we voted to launch in 2 parts, and then highlighting some of the awesome work in the forum by the community. So these blogs are coming out every 2 weeks. And then, yeah, Livia mentioned the forum. So one of the major things we're doing right now to help onboard folks to the TEC community is to have everything you need to know in one place. So we have, thanks to the contributions from Livia, Craig, Eduardo, Durgadas, and some other community members, all working together to push this and have the best foot forward for helping people to understand what is a TEC, how they can join and contribute. So this is an ongoing project we're hoping to wrap, I think by Monday or Tuesday at the latest. And there's some back-end stuff going on there. Just to see how we can best show that. And then another big part of the work is onboarding projects to submit proposals for the TEC. So with the Gitcoin, and the common stack conviction voting, we kind of got a 3-for-1. So we will, during that process, I was also able to talk to these projects about submitting a proposal here for the hatch. So we're hoping to have 5 projects by next week and scale that up to 20 and have like a really nice onboarding for them and get their proposals up, and then also inviting them. So anyone watching, we're having some space in our TEC weekly meetings for like an elevator pitch, 5 to 10 minutes for those who have submitted proposals. So that's a really nice spotlight for our community. And yeah, to go with that, we have all of these different projects we're reaching out to and having discussions with to see where they're at in their work and submitting a proposal to fund their project. And then the last thing I wanted to share was we, with the Common Stack, partnered with Conflux, who's going to bring the Common Stack design pattern vision to China. And we'll eventually be translating a lot of articles and Jeff's articles into Chinese. And because of this partnership, which I forgot to make a GitHub issue for, I wrote a press release with them, which now got the Common Stack on, I think it's on like 5 publications now, this partnership. So we sent out a press release. So it's really good for like PR visibility. So we may see an influx now of people reaching out to us because, yep. Did you have something to add?
I was just going to say that for anyone who doesn't have the context of this, this is Eden Dhaliwal from Outlier Ventures and Jeff Lefebvre are sort of close collaborators from the early days of the Common Stack who are now over at Conflux, and they reached out very eager to establish this partnership with us. So this is a advisor aligned partnership.
And also, the interesting part is they basically want to start taking the design pattern of conviction voting and all of these other tools and building them on a completely new blockchain besides Ethereum. So this is actually really huge, this partnership. So yeah, this is one of many waiting in the wings. Jeff initiated, and then I kind of pushed it forward and completed this. There's still going to be a little bit of work coming, but should be a really nice partnership going forward. And they're also interested in perhaps submitting a proposal to the TEC. So a lot of this is like very synergistic. The work with the Common Stack greatly influences and is helpful for our work with the TEC. And we are working slowly and hacking on the partnerships process and improving that. But overall, yeah, that was some big news that happened this week. So I will pass to Jeff. I need to stop sharing.
I think I just stopped. Everybody can see my screen now?
Yep.
Perfect. I will just keep speaking through Jessica's mic because, as we know, my laptop mic is so bad. So what was going on this past sprint? We had some really exciting progress on the Luna Swarm. So you can see here, this is the onehive.org website. They use conviction voting. Actually, they developed conviction voting from our research, but we can see here there's a proposal for the Luna Swarm launch. And I'm just going through this just so everyone can see the conviction voting interface as well. And this goes over to the OneHive forum where we've been working on the Luna Swarm manifesto, which is essentially modeling the OneHive ecosystem in cadCAD. So that was approved, and actually it was approved, and a lot of the big honey holders like Luke wasn't even involved in the passing. So this is a very popular community proposal. And the manifesto is here on the OneHive forum if anybody wants to look in and get more information. But essentially, we'll be carrying forward the work that was done on the conviction voting model and doing further modeling in the OneHive ecosystem and kind of building out that model for computer-aided governance for honey issuance, for conviction voting, for a bunch of different initiatives there. So that is also the Gitcoin grant that was supporting conviction voting. All of those funds we're going to send over to the OneHive Luna DAO. To be able to pay contributors, whether those are OneHive contributors or Luke or Zargam, or the project management and coordination of this task, which has been largely myself and Jessica. So yeah, there's lots of stuff going on the conviction voting front, on the cadCAD front. Yeah, lots of Gitcoin progress as well. So pushing grants, updated all of these Gitcoin grants for cadCAD as well. One thing for cadCAD, so all of the funds that have been collected in the Gitcoin grant for cadCAD so far actually go towards developer education. So those funds, I think a lot of people think that's for cadCAD development. We're actually storing those funds up. We have about 10 to 12K right now. And the plan is to turn those funds around and put them into a series of Gitcoin bounties that developers can pick up a cadCAD model, make improvements, add suggestions, and get paid basically to educate themselves through the process. So I've been working with a few cadCAD community members to put together this sort of bounty process. I mean, it's a lot of work just scoping the work. So we have a few people who are putting together like a bounty staging, fulfillment, settlement process. We've kind of got a bounty process rollout. Starting with simpler bounties and then moving to more intermediate and expert bounties. And essentially the roadmap, or sorry, the roadblock here is education and experience and relevant expertise in cadCAD modeling. So the whole idea behind this is to grow the resource base of developers who can model and work on cadCAD side by side with us in the TEC and the Common Stack and OneHive and all of the various groups that are kind of working on different aspects of this. So that was the main sprint push. We also got a cadCAD board up thanks to Tamara and a few other cadCAD contributors. We got an open cadCAD working group that is organized like the Common Stack board. We actually have it in our workspace as well. So we can toggle the repo on and off and see what's going on in the cadCAD world. So yeah, just helping to coordinate open tasks for community members to come in and take off the shelf and keep moving forward on cadCAD. And that was the main thrust of this past sprint. So perhaps I will stop sharing and pass it back to you, Griff.
I think Tamara's still got to go.
Yeah. I have to say, though, I am completely blown away watching all of this, just watching this recap. I mean, we see it happening during the week, but to see it all in one small presentation like this, I feel completely blown away. Excellent, excellent. I loved everything. So for this past sprint, we were really reflecting on and prioritizing critical to hatch. Specifically for TEC Hatch, of course. And as part of the last sprint, each of the working groups identified their critical issues, critical to critical path issues for hatching. And this week we did a working session with all of the stewards of the TEC to look at, sorry, this is not working the way I'm expecting it to. Sorry, 1 minute. Here we go. And we looked at three main things. One, which were the factors internal and external, which would be advantageous to the acceleration of a timeline versus the deceleration of a timeline, just to sort of to frame ourselves in the key components of what our pace should look like and what our pace could be. And then we identified the key milestones for each of the working groups. And we still, I still have that. This is a sneak preview because we'll still be synthesizing this into an overall roadmap that we'll publish with updated dates. But I think it was a very good experience for all of us to share this sort of vision board together and to be able to look at where we can, where our readiness to hatch falls. One of the things I also want to say, which we did with, I just want to give a brief thanks to Kate Beecroft from Greater Than, who's been working with us on team culture and relationship framework and did a workshop with us earlier this week to start a working agreement for our greater collaboration together. And then I will stop sharing and pass it back to you, Griff.
Sorry, I was muted. That's our show. There's a lot going on. If you guys have any interest in supporting our work, we have all of our issues on GitHub and lots of them marked for contributors. So we're welcome to share the glory with you if you want to help push this mission forward. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye. You guys can all say